Slipshod here, and this time it's a look at mouse acceleration and raw input. So the other week I was playing a match in Counter-Strike Go, and I noticed that my thumb was having to move irregular distances to achieve the same distance moved on screen. Obviously this turned out to be due to a driver option in Windows called Enhanced Precision, which I had activated on my laptop, since using a trackpad to get from one corner to the other without it, depending on the sensitivity, you could end up having to do 3 or 4 or even 4 swipes. But I hadn't realised that this would affect in games, because as you can see on my Steam controller bindings, I have acceleration off, so it didn't really make sense to me until I looked deeper into the issue, hence why I'm making this video. Now, I'm only on the settings menu, so you can see exactly how my settings were throughout the entire of the footage in this game. I have full sensitivity on the controller, and acceleration is off as well. Then in the Counter-Strike Go itself, I have a sensitivity set of 4.85, and that continues the whole way across. And in the Windows driver options, it is set to 6 out of 11. And this video is kind of split up into 2 parts. The first part is a look at the acceleration differences and relative sensitivities of a variety of different settings, and then the second part is more of, I guess, a real look at how it actually affects in-game accuracy. So yeah, and in this first set of gameplay footage, on the left you will see the options with Enhanced Precision on the left, with raw input in the game off, and then on the right hand side it will be with raw input on. Now, as you can see, this is my driver tab for my mouse pointer, obviously with the Enhanced Pointer Precision option, and the footage you're about to see is with it just turned off. As you can see, I'm just going through SourceGL showing use our input for raw mouse input, and then you click launch. So there's just a couple of things I want to mention before going on to the second half of this video, which is that Enhanced Precision seems to have a much bigger effect on gameplay, gunplay, at faster movements, but I find this not to be the case. Generally speaking, it really screws up smaller movements, especially when you're trying to make fine corrections. Obviously this isn't as much of a problem for people who use the gyro as a kind of secondary aim assist, but to be fair, Enhanced Precision does also affect it, since it uses the same base driver for mouse movement. There's also SourceGL RInput to consider as well, and what this does over in-game raw input is it seems to remove absolutely any trace of mouse smoothing at all, and it also, interestingly enough, seems to have an effect on how the haptic driver is processed, because it doesn't have quite the same feel, although in a good way. But I would say that SourceGL is probably only going to be used for people who need to have it exactly their way. I mean, it is a bit of a hassle, to be honest.